There are some of you that cannot see your way through tomorrow. No way! Likens it to a football player who runs toward the line, and the line is all full, and there's no way to get through, and the hole is not there, but he says, I'll find a way through. Recall when Joe Boyd was a young man. He's now a preacher. He was All-American tackle at Texas A&M. But he had playing fullback for him a fellow named John Kimbrough. Anybody ever hear of John Kimbrough? He was the Bronco Nagurski of his day. He was the Larry Zonka. He was the meanest running back in the whole country. Joe Boyd used to line up across from the tackle. Old Joe would line up and he'd look at the tackle across from him and he'd say, "Fella, I got news for you. I'm going to tell you what the play is." John Kimbrough was coming right over this tackle. Whenever we count to 3, up, 1, 2, 3. The ball's going to be snapped to John Kimbrough, and he's coming right through where you and I are right now. Now, I don't know what you're going to do, fella, but I'm getting out of the way. And I can recall sitting on the sideline in the Cotton Bowl. I can recall looking to snap the ball to old John Kimbrough. He'd run up there, no hole whatsoever. He just made a hole. I mean, before he got there was no hole. After he ran through, there was a big hole. And that's the way the Apostle Paul is saying. He's saying, are you down? Get up! No way to get through. Find a way through. He uses this athletic term to say, do it, do it, do it. I've said so many times, there's no place in success for a quitter. No place for a quitter. No place for a quitter. No place for a quitter. God hates quitting. I've told you this time and time again. You'll hear it again and again. I've got a dictionary in my office. And I opened the dictionary to Q, and I opened it to the word quit, and I got me a pair of scissors and cut the word quit out. I'm not going to have the word quit in my office. I'm not going to have it in my dictionary. I'm not going to have it. If I get down, I'll not be 10. If I can't find if there's no hole to go through, I'll find a hole to go through. There's always a way. There's always a way. Lester Roloff stood behind this pulpit. He's pressed. He's down. His orphanage has been closed. His ministry seems to have folded. I recall the day I was driving down the highway, turned on the radio, and heard Lester Roloff on the radio. He said, folks, he said, the saddest news I've ever had to tell you, I've got to tell you today. He said, I'm being put off this station. It was a station in Corpus Christi, Texas, a 50,000-watt station. He'd been on for 11 or 12 years. But he had gotten up and fought the Southern Baptist renting of a building they owned to a liquor store. The Southern Baptists in Texas owned a building, and they had leased that building to a liquor store. And Brother Roloff fought that action, and anybody who has any sense would fight that kind of action. And but the man who was the head of the Southern Baptist crowd that was that liquor store, or that owned the building, that leased the liquor store, he also had a part in the radio station. And he got Brother Roloff put off the station. And I can recall the last broadcast he had on the station. But the Lord performed a miracle. And in less than 2 years, Brother Roloff owned that radio station himself. He owned it. I do not say that he put all the Southern Baptists off of it, but I would not be surprised. But and I'm not preaching against Southern Baptists unless they lease stores to the liquor industry, and then I'm preaching against them, or anybody else for that matter. But what I'm saying is this. I'm saying he was down, pressed but not pinned. He couldn't find a way, but he found one. This morning there's a way for you. But you see, Brother Hyles, if you knew my bills. You know, folks come in my office. Last night a man was in, and he said, folks, here are my bills. How can I make ends meet? I said, there's a way. It's sort of like the fellow who was about to jump off the skyway over here into Lake Michigan, the bridge. And a policeman came up and said, hey, what are you going to do? He said, I'm going to end it all. I don't want to live. I don't want to live. Hey, he said, don't do it. Life is not that bad. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I don't want to live. He said, give me 5 minutes. Let me have 5 minutes. Try to talk you out of it. Okay, 5 minutes. They talked 10 minutes, and both the policeman and the fellow jumped off the bridge. And Folks come to my office and they say, Brother Hyles, I've got a problem. And I say, there's a way through. And so after they tell me their problem, we both commit suicide. But there is a way through. There is a way through. There is a way through. But you say, I can't see it. Aren't you glad you can't see it? If you could see it, it wouldn't give God a chance to show you how strong He is, would it? But you say, preacher, it just doesn't seem possible. I know, but with God, all things are possible. Oh, but you say, Brother Hyles, I've got a heart that's broken in two this morning. I feel like somebody's taken a knife and just stuck the knife right in my heart, and I don't feel like life is worth living. Okay, I know, but don't let the devil pin you. I mean, some this morning, some of you, the referee's already gone. To others of you, he's gone. Get your shoulder up. Get your shoulder up. But you say, I don't see a hole through the line. You just take off toward the line. God will open the hole before you get there. Don't stop. Keep on going. There's a third athletic term here. Persecuted but not forsaken, which means falling behind but not left. It likens to a fellow with a race. Stand up here. We're gonna run a race. We're gonna run a race. And I get a little tired, and you get ahead of me. And I'm falling behind. Thank you. That's what it means. It says you're falling behind, but it says not left. He says, you may fall behind in the race, young people. You may fall behind in the race. But you won't fall so far behind what you can't catch up. When I was a paratrooper in World War II, we had to run 10 miles a day without stopping back in those days. 10 miles a day. Not on a track, but on a highway, up and down hills, with boots on. Not tennis shoes, not track spikes, but boots. And we'd run for 10 miles. And I never was a real strong fella. I was always an athletic kind of fella, but I never did have bulging muscles or anything. And we had big, strong fellas. And we'd run. And we had to count cadence while we'd run. Hup, hoop, 3, 4. Hup, hoop, 3, 4. Hup, hoop, 3, 4. Hup, hoop, 3, 4. Had to count cadence. And I'd run about a half a mile, and I'd think, good night, I got 9.5 miles to go. And I just can't make it another step. But here's what I decided to do. I decided I wouldn't try to run 10 miles. I decided to try to run the next step. The next step. And I can recall when I'd run, I'd say, just one more step, just one more step. One more step, just one more. Like make the next one, and now 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 the next one. Did you know we'd have hundreds of men fall out of the race? I saw a little All-American football player from Lake Forest University over here stumble and fall out of the race. And I looked down. I thought, good night. That big giant, he's fallen out and is almost unconscious, and I'm still running. The wrong one's fallen out. And there I was. You know why I ran the race? I never stopped. You know why? Because I just tried to take the next step. Just tried to take the next step. You say, Brother Hyles, how can I get by in 1974? Don't worry about 1974 yet, honey. You got Monday, December 3rd, 1973 to worry about now. I recall that little lady in Texas who was sick and had cancer. And the doctor said she couldn't live a week. She was a widow. She had one little boy. And the little lady went to her face and said, Dear God, keep me alive today so I can rear my boy. And Lord, I won't talk to you about tomorrow. I just want to be alive today. And then the next morning she'd wake up and she'd say, Lord, keep me alive today. And the next morning she'd wake up and say, keep me alive today. And the next morning she'd wake up and say, keep me alive today. And she's still alive after all of these years. Why? Just one more step. Listen to me. Don't you worry about 1974. You worry about making it through today. Paul said, are you behind? Have you fallen behind in your payments? Have you fallen behind in the race? Are you losing? Well, you may be behind, but you can still catch up. You can still catch up. I never stand up here and look at little Richard Miller out here without thinking along this line a bit. Richard Miller has no arms. We get used to him because he's here so much. Richard Miller has no legs. When Richard Miller, he doesn't shake hands, he shakes stub. He holds his arm out about that long, and it comes to a point. This comes to a point, and skin wrapped around the point, like you'd take your hand like this, and just wrap skin around it. And he has no hand; he's just a little stub right up here. Richard Miller, every right in the world to be an invalid, every right in the world to have given up, every right in the world to be in a rest home somewhere. But Richard Miller plays the guitar. Plays the guitar. Richard Miller plays the organ. No arms, no legs. Plays the organ. Richard Miller travels across this country. Richard Miller fell in love. Richard Miller got married. Richard Miller's a father. Why? Pressed but wasn't pinned.